Hello everyone. Welcome to this Libra Pre Full-Moon meditation. The exact moment of the full moon will be at 8:54 GMT, just under 26 hours from now by my calculations. So we'll start by taking a look at the astrological chart of the full moon. I'll be spending a bit more time than usual on this because there's just so much going on this month astrologically. This full moon is at 16 degrees of Aries, opposite the Sun and Venus in Libra. Of this Aries-Libra opposition, DK says, Libra admits the soul into the world's center, which we call Shambhala, for it is the polar opposite of Aries, which is the place of beginnings. Libra demonstrates the perfect balance of spirit and matter, which first came together in Aries. This balance and this relation of the great opposites, spirit and matter, is symbolized for us in the personality situation of balancing the pairs of opposites on the astral plane and finding between them the narrow razor-edged path which leads the man into the kingdom of the soul. Okay. An aspect that will serve to introduce the theme of this chart is the tight square between Saturn and Uranus, representing the closing of one cycle and the beginning of a new one. The old way, Saturn, giving way to the new, Uranus. In part through revolutions, Uranus again, like we see happening in Iran, and the unexpected resilience and resurgence of Ukraine. Note how all three of Libra's rulers, Venus, Uranus, and Saturn, form a Pythagorean triangle, thus further energizing this Saturn-Uranus square. Pythagorean triangles, also called 3-4-5 triangles, are made up of a square, a trine, and an inconjunct, or quincunx. The fact that the Uranian side of this square also includes the North Node suggests that this aspect, representing the beginning of a new cycle, has specifically to do with the future destiny of humankind. We've come to a point where we need to make a choice, this aspect suggests, with the opportunity to create in the outer world a new paradigm of human relations. This theme, as we'll see through further exploration, is the dominant theme of this chart. Meanwhile, Pluto is, as of today, stationary, which magnifies its energy at 26 degrees Capricorn. Dan Rudyard says of this degree, here we find a revelation of those psychic forces that will release a flow of vital energy. In addition to this triangle formed by Venus, Saturn, and Uranus, we have another Pythagorean triangle formed by Pluto, Mercury, and Mars. Mars and Mercury help to shine light on that which Pluto continues to drag to the surface. The energy of these two Pythagorean triangles is linked by a trine between Mars and Venus, as well as between Mars and Saturn, thus forming a grand trine between Mars, Saturn, and the Venus-Sun conjunction. Linking these two triangles by means of a grand trine greatly facilitates the passage from an old to a new cycle. Two Pythagorean triangles linked by a grand trine is a rare and powerful event. In addition to forming a Pythagorean triangle with Pluto, Mercury and Mars also form a T-square with Neptune and Pisces, which, if one can see past the glamour that Neptune has a tendency to generate in Pisces, brings the creative imagination to bear on the otherwise analytical Mars-Mercury square. And all three players in this T-square are an aspect to the magnified energy of a stationary Pluto. So, Pluto drags to the surface that which the creatively charged mind seeks to clarify and understand. This is very much a truth-finding signature, a deeper truth that can show us how to heal, as indicated by Chiron conjunct the moon, both ourselves and the planet. Which brings us to an interesting fourfold opposition between the moon and Chiron, the wounded healer, in Aries, and the sun and Venus in Libra. Aries and Libra are the signs, respectively, of impulse and balance, also traditionally viewed as the signs of war and peace. Given the positions and the characters of the planets involved, this opposition could represent a move towards peace. But we have to remember that astrology just reveals the available energies. We have to act on these energies in order to create real-world results. The planetary stage in which all these energies are working is indicated by the fact that Jupiter and Mercury are conjunct the world axis, which is formed by an arm of the cardinal cross at 0 degrees of Aries and Libra. This introduces an expansive, impersonal second-ray heart energy into our now complex energy system, all oriented towards bringing forth a new paradigm of human relations. It's one of the most extraordinary new moon charts that I've seen. As you can see here, absolutely every planet is involved and is aspected. Okay, let's take a look at Libra itself, whose exoteric keywords are "let choice be made," and whose esoteric keywords are "I choose the way that leads between the two great lines of force." DK says, a treatise could be written on the subject of the relation of the opposites in the zodiacal circle, for they express spirit and matter and their interrelation, plus the play of qualitative energies. They bear witness at the same time to the fact that these two are one and are simply the expression of great, mutable, and yet fixed and initiated spiritual lives. He's talking about this life that inhabits these 6 axes. It is for this reason that the constellation Libra occupies a unique place in the Great Wheel, for it is the energy coming from this constellation which controls what we might call, for lack of a more suitable word, the hub of the wheel. This is that point in intermediate space where the 12 zodiacal energies meet and cross. Libra, therefore, controls the, quote, moment of reversal of the wheel in the life of every aspirant. For there comes a moment in the cycle of lives wherein a point of balance is reached and a relative equilibrium is attained. And over this event, Libra presides. In ancient Greece, this quality of equilibrium was personified by the goddess Themis, spiritual icon of Libra. In fact, there were temples dedicated to Themis all throughout Greece, though we know little about the practices of her acolytes. Nonetheless, Thomas Taylor gives us a pretty good idea of her importance among the ancients. Quote, when we say that it is necessary that the cause of the universe should operate according to power, We do not suggest a necessity which implies violence or constraint, but rather that necessity which Aristotle defined as, quote, the perfectly simple. And hence, this term, when applied to the most exalted natures, signifies nothing more than the necessity of subsisting in the perfection of their divine nature. This necessity was called by ancient theologists themis, the perfectly right and just. Jupiter placed himself at the center of all that is divine, making all things obedient to his intellection, but he used Themis as the medium to conjoin the multitude of gods with himself. These divinities, therefore, especially require the assistance of Themis, who contains in herself the divine laws according to which providence, or Jupiter, is intimately connected with the wholes meaning the realms of influence of the gods. Okay, let's take a brief look at the Heraclion labor associated with Libra, entitled The Capture of the Erymanthian Boar. This labor is all about the self-mastery a disciple must demonstrate before he or she can reverse his or her path on the zodiacal wheel. Certain details in this labor confirm this. First and foremost, Heracles recognizes that the boar must not be killed, but rather must be controlled. He does this by holding its hind legs as he steers the boar down the mountainside. Hind legs are where the power is generated. When they are held by the soul, as we go down the mountain, that is, into incarnation, we have the possibility of living the life of a soul-infused personality. In so doing, the influence of Venus, Libra's exoteric ruler, shifts from desire to intelligent love, and the resulting responsiveness to Uranus, Libra's esoteric ruler, initiates a new cycle and ushers in a new paradigm of expression. So with that, let us begin our meditation. So if you could sit upright in order to align your chakras, start using regular deep breathing to calm the physical body, check in with your emotional and calm any emotions there. Now let us lift our focus onto the mental plane and enter into the presence of the soul. As we deepen this contact, feel yourself moving into a field of light, of love, and of spiritual power. Now let us merge ourselves as individual souls into a deep sense of the group soul. We can facilitate this merging by visualizing a ring of white light with each of us as points within that ring. And at the center, the Master DK, who is one with the group soul. As our unity strengthens, let us extend this sense of inclusive connection out to all the spiritually minded people of the world, including all men and women of goodwill. Now, in a conscious act of further extension, let us visualize our group soul merging into the one soul of humanity. In this act of inclusion comes the realization that there is no my soul and thy soul. In fact, it is in the living awareness of this unified soul field of consciousness that we can truly say, not is but me. Now, bringing to bear the will aspect of the soul, visualize a potent point of tension within the mental unit, demonstrating as the color of your soul ray. This point of tension will form the foundation of your antakarana. If you don't know your soul and personality rays, use the second ray, color indigo. So from this high point of tension in the mental unit, gather that energy. Now let us visualize our dual-colored individual antakaranas, made up of the colors of our personality and soul rays, projecting upward towards the mental unit and connecting with the monastic permanent atom. As this connection grows stronger, visualize our individual antakaranas merging into the group antakarana, which glows with all the 7 colors, but primarily the deep indigo blue of the second ray, reaching up into the realms of the spiritual triad. Now, inwardly and in continued identification with the group soul, let us together affirm the great word of power. I see the greatest light. From the point of group tension on the mental plane, imaginatively project a line of vivid, living white light upwards into the triadal realms. This group light is met by a light from on high. In the presence of this great light of the spiritual triad, let us as a group attempt to feel the presence of the Great White Brotherhood, the Lodge of Masters, the spiritual hierarchy of our planet. Now, with heartfelt gratitude, let us offer our salutations to the Masters and to the head of the hierarchy, the Christ. Salutations to the Buddha, the Lord of light and wisdom. Salutations to the Christ, the Master of all masters. Salutations to the triangle of masters with whom we work most closely. To the Master Moria. To the Master Kuthumi. And to the Master Dual-Kul. Salutations to the spiritual hierarchy of our planet. Now let us lift our collective attention to Shambhala, the center where the will of God is known, and with deepest reverence and in all humility, attune to the presence of Sanat Kumara, standing at the center of Shambhala. It is in this heightened state that we can come to realize that Shambhala is the planetary center through which the energies of the constellations and the planets enter our world to be distributed to all living beings on Earth. Now let us align with the spiritual qualities emanating from the three planetary rulers of the sign Libra. Venus, the exoteric ruler, conveying the decisive emergence of soul values, wisely balanced with personality necessities. Uranus, the esoteric ruler, conveying the power to relate with archetypal authenticity. Saturn, the hierarchical ruler, and exalted in Libra, suggesting the consummation of karma in justice and beauty. So let us first turn our attention to the potency of Venus, to the fortifying love of the solar angel, which magnetizes the personality towards the soul, eventually leading us into a divine marriage, wherein the personality is absorbed into the radiant beauty of the soul. Let us as a group open our consciousness to the impressions borne upon the Venusian stream of energy. Consider how you, your group, this group, all groups are one, could best channel the energy of magnetic intelligent love into the human kingdom. Imagine this group imbued with these divine qualities, transmitting them to all humanity. Now let us shift our focus to Uranus, Libra's esoteric ruler, and consider the power it has to bring in a new social order based on truth and authenticity in all relations. What forms of group creativity might help this new order to take hold and grow? What fresh modes of human interaction can you and your groups bring forward that might contribute to the vitalization of this new social order? From this place of depth and silence, consider how you, your group, this group, might best channel Uranus's vitalizing, initiating energy for the betterment and balance of all the energy systems within our planet. Now let us shift our focus to Saturn, Libra's hierarchical ruler, a position fortified by Saturn's exaltation in Libra. Let us contemplate the divine law expressed through the spiritual will emanating from the Atmic plane, which is ruled by Libra and Saturn in combination. Consider for a moment the law of karma, which through its lawful balancing of karmic imbalances moves us ever closer to a harmonious expression of the divine plan. In recognition of and alignment with the plan, consider how we in all our group configurations might best channel the potency of the divine law that comes to us from this Saturnian stream. Imagine this group as an instrument of the divine plan, transmitting its energy to all humanity. Now let us lift our focus to the solar logos, which expresses itself through our sun and the entire solar system. Consider the fact that we are ever immersed in the potency of love wisdom that pours through all the planets of the system, through Shambhala, and through every monad, soul, and personality on planet Earth. Now, let us lift our focus to the constellation Libra, radiating its particular quality of light, DK describes this light as, quote, Libra, the light that moves to rest. This is the light that oscillates until a point of balance is achieved. It is the light which is distinguished by a moving up and down. Consider Libra's profound relationship to the third ray of creative intelligence, and also via Venus and Uranus to the fifth and seventh rays. Let us ponder deeply the mantra for Libra. I choose the way that leads between the two great lines of force. Finally, let us together visualize the following energetic downflow, starting in the constellation Libra, flowing down through the solar logos at the heart of the solar system into Shambhala, then on down through our monads into the hierarchy, through the great Lord, the Christ, and into and through the ashram with which you believe yourself to be increasingly associated, on down through the soul of this group and all the groups you are affiliated with, and finally into your spiritualized personality. Now, while holding this point of high alignment as a group, let us, through the eyes of love and compassion, consider the world situation and imagine the ways in which the purifying energies of Libra might flow through us for the upliftment and redemption of humanity and the planet. Still holding this high alignment, let us, with hands upraised and intoning the Om 3 times, send a group blessing into humanity so that it may rise to its true spiritual potential and thus fulfill the divine plan. We'll close with a great invocation. From the point of light within the mind of God, let light stream forth into the minds of man. Let light descend on earth. From the point of love within the heart of God, let love stream forth into the hearts of men. May Christ return to earth. From the center where the will of God is known, let purpose guide the little wills of men, the purpose which the masters know and serve. From the center which we call the race of man, let the plan of love and light work out, and may it seal the door where evil dwells. Let light and love and power restore the plan on earth. Oh.